Hey folks, I'm gonna run through plagiarism real quick, just to make sure everybody's got a good sense of it, and also, um, I don't want anybody to accidentally step into this because it's a bad scene. This is gonna sound like a mean video. It's really not. Just don't do this stuff. A lot of people, not a lot of people, a handful of people, like I don't know, 2 to 3 people in most of my classes will do something like this, unfortunately, and I don't want you to because it's not cool. But some people will like look at the discussion boards and okay, we've got which of the theories of the disappearance of the colony of Roanoke is most convincing to you and why. And one of the first things you need to do is to go, through your textbook and go look around on the internet a little bit and look at the different ideas of what happened to these people, and then write a short 250 word little post about it. That is super easy. Rather than doing that, though, some people will just Google up, what happened to the lost colony at Roanoke, and then they'll go to the History Channel or something like that, and they'll say, oh, that looks about 250 words, and then they'll just copy and paste that into the discussion board. That is absolutely plagiarism. That is copying somebody else's work and passing it off as your own. That is a bad thing to do. So just straight out copying, absolutely plagiarism. Some other people, like, well, okay, that's plagiarism, just copying it straight up. Can't do that. What else can I do? Well, I can copy it and I can change, some of the words here and there, and that will not be plagiarism because it's not completely the other person's words. And then for good measure, I'll write a little sentence at the end of it that's absolutely my own words. Unfortunately, nobody knows what happened to the first wave of settlers. uh, that's still plagiarism. You're still taking this whole thing, and even though you're just changing a word here and there, absolutely still plagiarism. Please don't do that. Uh, so first, just copying straight out, copying and pasting, absolutely plagiarism. Copying and pasting and changing up a few words here and there, still plagiarism. Don't do that. Another one that's kind of new and it's bad, still plagiarism, don't do it, but it's also kind of entertaining sometimes, is these plagiarism tools have popped up online. And they're usually called paraphrasing tools, but it's really plagiarism. And you just copy what you originally want, the original work, you copy it right here, and then you hit Quillbot. Quillbot's one of these. And if you get caught with this, seriously, it's a zero. And then it'll spit you something back out. It basically it does the second thing that I said. It changes a couple of the words, but from the entertaining side of things, it has some really crazy stuff that it spits out. On this last sentence, the original, in those accounts, an occasional civilian found themselves in the midst of the battlefield. This is a little piece on Vicksburg instead of the Roanoke folks. Okay, so that's regular stuff. In those accounts, an occasional civilian found himself as the ganglion in the center of the battlefield. What the heck? No, that makes you sound like something happened in between typing all this, and just a random word flew on there, and that's I'm worried about you. This is still plagiarism, even though you make some really crazy statements there. Uh, don't do that. I'm seeing this more and more, and absolutely, it's still plagiarism. But these get these really strange phrases. Um, for romantic partner, I've seen it spit out sentimental acquaintances. I don't know what the heck. I've also gotten a paper one time that said a family of four, and it changed it to a gaggle of four instead of a family. It was looking for some other synonym for it. So don't do that either. This is still these paraphrasing tools, still plagiarism. So please don't do that. It's super easy to just go and read a few things and write up 250 words in your own, by yourself. Some of the stuff that could happen, and this is where we're getting into a couple of the more questions on the syllabus quiz that you need to be able to answer. Some of the stuff that could happen if you get caught plagiarizing. you're probably going to get a 0 for that assignment. I'm not going to give you any credit for somebody else that, that wrote that for you. No, not at all. So you're probably going to get a 0 for the assignment. Also, for me personally, I go back and if I catch somebody plagiarizing, I'm going to check the rest of their work. If we're down to, if you've already submitted 5 discussion boards and I notice that, whoa, this one's plagiarized and it looks weird and it doesn't look, like your wording usually, I'm going to check the rest of them as well. And odds are I will find more instances of plagiarism in there. So you're going to get 0s for those too. So really, this is a bad scene. Second thing, you may get an F for the class. That's depending on your instructor. If you get caught plagiarizing on something, your instructor may just give you an F for the entire class. And so you've wasted your time and your money and just over, 250 word discussion board. Don't do that. Last thing that might happen, super bad, it might get kicked up to the registrar's office for academic dishonesty. And then that goes on your transcript. That's a super, super bad scene because it shows you're not going to do your own work to other people. So don't do any of this stuff. Just write your own stuff. It's not that difficult. You get better at writing. The more writing you do, you get better at it. So use this as an opportunity. You're like, I don't want to do that. Still. But yeah, so don't do the plagiarism stuff. Several of those things that I just talked about though are covered in the syllabus quiz. So make sure to take this information and plug it into those over there. So now that we've got through all that and you've watched my really super goofy music video, get into the class and start knocking out some of those discussion boards. We'll see you in there. Bye.